Hello and welcome. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Dina with Empressivewarrior. Thanks for joining. Go ahead and synchronize your energies. Take in some of that smudge. Breathe deep. Set your mind and intentions for the reading. I will admit that I'm feeling a little bit hyper. So many amazing conversations just ahead of this that I was talking to two of my friends, as well as connecting with some new progress in some plans that have been dreams of mine coming together. So I don't know if you're feeling the momentum following. Recently, at the time of this recording, we had the Aries full moon, and so there's that huge push, momentum, and new starts happening. So as I split the deck, we have Gates of Heaven and Enter the Jade Temple. So the Gates of Heaven can sometimes talk about attachments. It can talk about spiritual attachments, and certain those of us out there that believe that we have communication with other realms may feel sometimes that that you are assisting in the communication and the resolution that's happening on that spirit releasing, and others of you may be somehow connected to something like helping souls transition from their earthly life into the afterworld, something like that, or helping the loved ones of those who pass, or ones tragically connected to things. It can be all types of things, but it's talking about how we sometimes, not all of us, some of us will overlook sometimes our actual essence and how we're so entangled with other beings that we don't necessarily see, and how interconnected it all is. So Enter the Jade Temple, I feel, is you really getting into your core, believing in your capacity as some type of medium or otherwise connected to the life and death situations and circumstances, transitioning souls, transitioning energy from lower to higher. Um, yeah, a meditation or something such as that with Enter the Jade Temple. It looks like we're being told to tune into these messages or beings that are trying to reach us. So for those that are feeling that hyperness, such as I came into this reading, it's somewhat about relaxing the energies, making sure that as the material world speeds up, that we don't lose our footing in the whirlwinds that will push and pull at us energetically, or winds of change, if you will. One more. So this is the mixed Kali Kuan Yin deck. We've got Dynasty of the Divine Mother number 8 coming out with Ivory Swan Goddess 15 under the deck. Ivory Swan Goddess is quite a bit about the healing process, the integration process that sometimes needs to happen after something, a whirlwind type thing that kind of has you needing to replenish your energies. Dynasty of the Divine Mother. This card here, as you can see, is kind of about a meditation. The individual's in a specific stance, sitting on some type of a throne, and has two mudras going on. The first one is forefinger to thumb, such as this-ish. I'm not a master at this. And the other one looks to be the second finger to the thumb, with then the pinky out, such as this. So I don't know if that has anything to do with what you're practicing, but to me in this moment, it looks like the ability to sit in gratitude, presence in the now moment. Yeah, and I think that that's what it's talking about, being able to rest and replenish and be a channel for the Divine Mother. Something about the compassion is the first one out. It's kind of what I was feeling, but wanting to use different words. But I guess sometimes the simple messages are the most important ones. So 15, that number corresponds with the ivory swan goddess. I feel that there's also a need to forgive ourselves, to come to our own attention about something, such as the way that we're using our voice and our emotional energies. And sometimes we can get really caught up in the moment, and it's calling our attention to relax a little bit and to put things in the proper perspective, and to act with grace and forgiveness and unconditional love. It's like sometimes we can really get riled up in the moment, and it's not about proving a point here. It's about integrating whatever chaos is coming to our attention. Underneath the deck is coherence, number 13. And to me, that's talking about our ability to understand the beauty and the divinity in the friction, in the chaos, in the misunderstandings, and to be able to dance with those energies without becoming emotionally brought low or emotionally reactive in the moment, to stay in the compassion of, well, I honor other people's abilities to have other perspectives and so on. So understanding how your compassion is growing in this moment, maybe. Allowance. Exactly. These are the gifts of the Divine Mother. Cosmic Flower. I feel like that's talking about our ability to allow other individuals to be as they are without turning our back on them is crucial right now. Building bridges instead of tearing down towers. And in that, it's helping the consciousness of everything that is to grow and expand. So throat chakra, yes, I think too, we just were talking about the how we use our voice in the moment and pulling ourselves back and relaxing about something. Let's go with 5 across, emergence. And this may be, okay, so with throat chakra, usually what I get is something that needs to be said. But it seems here that there's, instead of us being assertive and dominant in speech, we're being told that growth is exponential when there's more diplomacy and connectivity between that, where there's more dialogue and less accusations. I mean, who knew, right? It seems so obvious. We're coming back to something quite simple here, and possibly seeing where ourselves or another has kind of deviated from that and maybe pulling back from that. Divine Feminine, absolutely. She's in the house. she's on the mic. Why do I have a B in here now? Let's go on. 33, Miracle underneath Allowance. Yes, there you go. So compassion stacks with Divine Feminine. Expanding what connects us instead of what divides us, creates and helps us to allow miracles to take place within this context, within the circumstance or the relationship. Under Cosmic Flower, solar plexus. That's about confidence, our assertive nature, the use of our creativity and our willpower, knowing of who we are and what our contribution to the whole is. And I think here it's talking about our ability to help grow or to engage argumentative, combative type energies, agreeing to disagree so that we can continue to be friends and family and neighbors. So under throat chakra, delight. Absolutely. So that everybody doesn't have to feel that I looked up and the word magnificence appeared as malign. which is mal-aligned. And then I was hearing malignant, which for some, I mean, I think that they use that term quite often with narcissism and also with tumors. I don't know how that has to do with something, but it's like there's a reason why throat chakra comes out with delight. It's like, how can we positively invoke our manifestation? And it's not by arguing, it's about helping each other to keep connecting. Emergence, Merkaba, expansion. The emergence of expansion, understanding how we can be this agent of expansion instead of the constriction of disagreement, opening things up, opening perspectives, opening eyes, opening minds to the miracle of letting other people do their own thing and staying in our own lane. It feels like. Let's go ahead and take some of these cards. For compassion, we'll take this one that turned. Manifest. We already talked about that. Manifesting through compassion. It's gorgeous. So allowance, we'll take this one, and we have two more popping out. So allowance is worthy. Cole, there's my naughty dog. Come on in. Come lay down. You better lay down. He ran away today. Stay. Good boy. Worthy. Sorry to interrupt this broadcast. So allowing other people this space to identify in their own way with their own set of values. It's like sometimes even myself, admittedly, when there's something that I believe in, the more thoroughly I believe in something, there's this polarity that happens on the egoic side, where it's like, oh, well, that viewpoint is misdirected, it's bad, it's this or it's that. But there's something about questioning other people. It's worth none of the marbles at this point. So what else here? Immunity and frequency shift. I think too, it's impressing upon us about when you aren't questioning your own views and the worth of your views, you don't need others to validate your views. And so it's no longer important to go out and argue about these views, which shows itself to ourselves over and over again. But then there's things that can really seem like we've got to fight for this thing, that this is a worthy cause. And so there's, I think here for many of us, excuse my throat, this choosing point as far as how do we use our voice, when do we use our voice. There we go. So yeah, how and when to use our voice. It looks like we've got write, as in writing things out, birthing, and fairy magic under the deck showing themselves in that type of a stack. Interesting. So you may be writing something out that's worthy of saying here to hopefully shift somebody's ability to understand something and help them to break out of some type of thing that's kept them sick. But I think that we're kind of being told it's worthy of saying, but it's in how we say it. It's in how we express. Are we confusing the identity of the self or the other with the issue at hand? Let's see. Cosmic Flower. What does Cosmic Flower have to say? Cosmic Flower and Power. So flower power. So yeah, I keep hearing that. Catch more, is it flies with honey than with vinegar or something like that. I think that there's an evolution that some of us, many of us tuning in here, are on this journey of expressing our own personal power and our own personal voice in such a way that helps to empower what's good and right and true versus the often idealized version of power that seems to want to dominate and assert and control and dictate. So there's possibly a power struggle going on here that seems either limiting some type of growth or somehow serving the empowerment process. It could be helping you to feel really motivated to be a powerful voice of reason in this situation here. Mediumship. So we started this out, not to forget, about talking about attachments and spiritual transcendence from one plane to the next. And so beyond the ability to use our voice in the so-called real world, I think that to get back to that original topic here, because of our ability to feel that compassionate link to all souls, perhaps, that if we can stop with our argumentative nature in the egoic world, the material world, then we're kind of allowing ourselves to get deeper and deeper into our ability to manifest some type of compassionate connectivity with souls, and with this worthiness, frequency shift, and immunity. Maybe we are helping frequencies such as beings that are departed to shift from state to state, quite literally. So if you thought that you had to be somebody more important or more trained up in this to be able to do this, I think that you might be a little bit overly humble for some of you. I think that you just have to admit that that some type of intuitive voice has somehow been guiding you to have certain experiences that have helped you, allowing yourself to tune into your ability to either send distant healing to situations through power of prayer, power of words, power of intention, to shift a frequency into a different state, to help those energies to transcend and to transition. And maybe you're also somebody who's helpful at clearing attachment energy from other individuals. If you're somebody who deals with a lot of issues such as shamans, or things such as helping people clear energy from abuse, trauma, or other types of attachments, it's important to keep yourself cleared. And it looks like somebody here is helping people clear their demons, so to speak, on some level. So you have the power, the mediumship power, to help things grow and expand here. I'm seeing caretaker under the deck. Let's clarify the throat chakra here. What is it in power that we speak or listen to? Stay in here, please. Lay down. Throat chakra. Let's take this one. Mediumship comes out again. Being a clear and conscious channel for the messages that are finding us and speaking to us spontaneously, perhaps, and for others of you, possibly from the time that you were young with this innocence, or maybe some of you have a child who is stating things beyond their wisdom or comprehension, so to speak, that is somehow calling something very clear into being. Or departed individuals speaking through a child. Anyways, I don't want to speculate. It'll be different for everybody. On emergence, we have 2 cards coming out and a third one to clarify. Let's see. We have voice. No shock there. So the emergence of a voice, our voice perhaps, but I think with assistance and voice, what we're being told is that we're finally being able to understand that there's this voice from another dimension or realm, not to be creepy or weird, but a divine voice that is coming through this mediumship capacity that you have and helping you to understand your gifts in a deeper way. Faith is the third card that flew out. Incredible. Have faith that this isn't something meaning that you're cracking up. Birthing under the deck. Interesting. Yeah, there's this new skill that is being exponentially nurtured into beingness in your life, and it may be activated, alchemized, whatever you want to say, through some series of events. Could even be a series of people passing away. I know that some of the conversations that I've been having with others already, we've had a few tragically young people pass away in my hometown here in the recent months. It seems like that it should be a sad time, but some of us are starting to recognize how in the days preceding these events that some of us had some interesting psychic phenomena. So maybe this is also happening for yourself. I know the power of the sun right now is incredible, and talk about solar plexus and Aries full moon time at the same time as all this sun activity. It's like there's a huge amount of influx of light energy. Light codes are literally coming from the sun, and people can speculate on the reasons. Let's keep moving though and just get our reading out here. We have Take Flight under the deck now. Divine Feminine comes out with Violet Flame face up, and face down we have Rejuvenation. Yeah, Violet Flame, we already talked about transmutation, taking lower and transmuting it into the higher vibrational energies. Rejuvenation from the Divine Feminine, and we just had birthing, remember, Storm under the deck now. I believe this is talking about us feeling through the chaos of the time, the huge hyper energies that are trying to pick everything up and deposit it elsewhere, like in the Wizard of Oz. You know, it lifts Dorothy and her home up and delivers her out into Oz, into this crazy land. And so it's a time here where we're able to, within that place, recognize that the power is within us, not in those ruby slippers, so to speak, but having faith that there's this inner voice. We don't really need to seek out this wizard or this individual. For most of us, the violet flame is within us. And as we start to recognize our deeper empowerment and our deeper inner guidance, the voice of our inner guidance and our inner angels and guidance team, and our power to help and to heal and send distant prayers and things such as this, I think that this is us birthing this new capacity within ourselves to be connected, intuitive, this sense of huge connectivity and unity is also, I think, related to those of us empowering the feminine polarity within ourselves, masculine or feminine. I'm not talking about feminism. I'm talking about the sacred feminine being brought into the center of the sacred circle once again. You know, there's a reason why the feminine was brought into the center of the circle. We can talk about that another time. Let's clarify the miracle here. And lastly, just real quick, divine feminine rejuvenation of the violet flame is like the feminine's deeper, sacred, witchy, perhaps, empowerment that has been almost the feeling of having our power stolen from us. It's being reinvigorated, reestablished. There is a power within us to shift things with the power of our voice and our vibrational resonance here, and to reestablish the proper order here. And so we're allowing some miracle to take place. We have sexuality under there again. That one's been coming out. I think that is talking, in the pre-shuffle, I did get tantric union. That's what I think it's relating to, is the sacred energy that we have. Return of spirit, rejuvenation, and then the return of spirit. This connectivity with this movement, whatever triggering series of events perhaps are coming through to return us to our spiritual sacred essence and center, to put ourselves in the center, to put ourselves in the sacred center. Our feelings, emotions, our intuition, and our mediumship channel, our faith. We need to reconnect to whatever brings us into a sense of hope, faith, and preserve that which is worthy of being preserved, instead of giving all of our attention to the potential fears or the potential power plays of others. Being able to connect to and support those other things that are important with our energy, and giving our energy to that instead. Something flipped out here. Okay, over solar plexus chakra, we have contact. This may require you to be reaching out to people in a different way in your world. I know for me, sometimes I will get these impressions, and I have somebody that I need to reach out to because their departed mother showed up in my so-called thoughts. I'll put that in quotes. Sometimes our inner spontaneous, innocent ideas that are coming through are divinely inspired. It's the whisper of something divine from the other realms that's saying, hey, so-and-so is here, trying to knock on your brain door and say, hey, would you please, my daughter needs you. Please reach out to her and tell her that I'm here for her in her time of need. And I forgot, I put it off, I didn't reach out to her. So if you're getting some recurring messages to reach out to individuals, know that these are somewhat divinely inspired energies. So there's something, some beingness or energy that wants to connect with you. And it could be your guidance team in some realms. And for some of you, this may be some star seed roots that we're talking about, or past life roots, something such as this. But with this contact, it can also be at a distance, as I said before. Commitment. I think that that's the recommitment to our faith here, and recommitment to our creative, inspired, taking action on those creatively inspired, motivating forces here. Understanding that the contact is divine and that it's there for a reason to propel us into some type of action. And it's a delightful action. So it won't be weird for the person, I don't think. It's something, a message that's going to actually help them to feel better in their loss or in their time of need, I feel. So here we have two other cards popping out for delight. We have commitment and music with Phelan under the deck. Can you guys hear that buzzing? There's an insect buzzing around one of my lights in particular. I'm not sure what it wants. So apologies for that buzzing. Feline energy, it's like always landing on your feet, independent, courageous, and multidimensional in a way here. So what is it with this delight, music, commitment? Also, this is coming below throat chakra with mediumship. Maybe for some of you, you need to really recognize how music opens up your understanding and your energy, the right type of music, and it can elevate your vibrational resonance. Upgrade. Yes. Maybe sharing music instead of views is something that could help some of us to reconnect with good things in the world. But I think also many of you have the opportunity to use your voice musically. And it looks like you need to possibly recommit to learning some type of something to do with your voice. It could be learning to do some type of vocalization, some type of public speaking, some type of it's something with soul harmonics here, and it's something that is really bringing you a lot of joy, but that you may resist. Let's get a clarifier for Merkaba. We're already at the end of the video. I apologize for all of the distractions. We're keeping our focus. Merkaba, what is expanding here and emerging? The voice, the faith in our voice and how it's going to expand our ability to take care of others. And I think that that brings us full circle here, that you are this celestial being that helps other energies with attachment energy. You're helping departed souls to connect to their loved ones in some cases, and in other cases to transition. So it looks like this is something that maybe there's an intonation or some type of a light language that some of you also speak, but your gifts are really trying to connect with you more fully here and to bring back your confidence and courage, to bring your vocalizations forth on this, because you have a very powerful voice that can help to shift consciousness, to shift vibrations, to shift energies from state to state. And so you need to take more seriously, perhaps, or go more publicly with some of these energies. I think I'm going to come back. I'm going to take these cards out. I'll do a second reading for the day, and I'm going to use some other decks and see if we can extend this message just a little bit more. So if that's all for you today, feel free to connect with us again or look back for some other timeless readings. And otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks, folks.